Hello everybody and welcome to Coding Friday with Funmi, Coding Friday with Funmi. Today we'll be tackling some fun and easy LeetCode problems for beginners. So if you're new to coding or you've just started with LeetCode, you are in the right place. I'll walk you through some basic problems step by step, explaining the logic behind each solution so you can boost your problem solving skills. Grab your favorite code editor and let's begin. Coding Friday with Funmi. Are you ready? So we will solve two problems today. The first problem would be the two-sum problem, while the second one will be the reverse string problem. The link to the Jupyter notebook would be in the description, so you can check it out. So what is the two-sum problem? Let me read the description. Given an array of integers, num, and an integer target, we want to return the indices of two numbers such that they add up to the target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same elements twice. So what does this tell us? We have an array of integers, and then we have a target. And from our array, we want to return the indices that adds up to the target. So see, we have 2, 7, 11, 15, and the target is 9. So this is our target. We want to add two numbers here. Two numbers that when we add together will give us the target 9. What is the number? 2 and 7. When we add that together, it will give us the target 9. But we don't want to return 2 and 7. We want to return their indexes. So 2 is in position 0 and 7 is in position 1. That's now our output is 0 and 1 because the num of 0, which is 2, plus the num of 1 will give us our target of 9. So how are we going to approach this problem? We're going to use a dictionary or an hash map to keep track of numbers that we've already seen and their position. So the steps that we'll take is that first we'll create an empty dictionary. This will store the number that we've seen before and their position. And then we'll go through the list of numbers one by one. And for each number, we'll then calculate the difference between the target and the correct number. And we'll now check if that difference exists in the dictionary. So we'll have a dictionary. We'll first take 2 and then we'll check. We'll go through the list one by one, and then we'll calculate the difference, the target minus the number, and then see if we have that difference in our dictionary. And if the difference exists in our dictionary, that means we've already seen the number and it adds up to the target, and then we'll return the position of the number. And if we don't find the difference, then we'll add the correct number and its position to the dictionary. So let's have our function. I hope my explanation was clear. So we have two-sum, and what do we have? What are we? We have the nums, and we also have our target because those are the two things that we're putting in our function. And then the next thing that we have to do is to create our empty dictionary. Our empty dictionary is going to store the number and the position. So I'll have an empty dictionary, which is num maps. You can call it whatever you want. And then I want to loop through each number in my list. My list is what? My list is nums. I want to loop through it, and then I want to calculate the difference between the target and my number. So that's what we have here. We have our non-maps, which is our empty dictionary, and we're looping through each item in our list. What is our list? Our list is num, and then we're calculating the difference needed to reach the target. So this is our variable difference, and what are we subtracting? We're subtracting target. We're subtracting it from num. You know, we're using for I and num because we want to loop. We want to be able to save the position and also the value of the number. To learn more about enumerate, we talked about enumerate on day 39 of the 100 days of Python programming. So you can check it out if you're interested to learn about this. But this allows us to keep the index and also the value. We are able to get that with our for loop. So we said we're calculating the difference needed to reach our target. So div and target is what we'll pass here minus the number here. And then we want to check if that difference already exists in our dictionary. If it does exist, we want to return the position of the two numbers. So we'd have an if statement that if div, what is div? The difference between our target and the number. If it exists, then we want to return return the index of that number and also the index of the number in our dictionary. So this is how I would do it. Check the difference. If div in nummap, what is nummap? That is our dictionary. And if yes, we want to return nummap div, and then the position. What is the position? That we got using our enumerate. Otherwise, if it doesn't exist, we want to add the current number and the position to our dictionary. So we'll iterate through our list, our num list, and then we'll then subtract the difference, our target, from the number in our for loop, and then we'll then check if it already exists. If it exists, we're going to return the positions of both the number we're checking and the number that is in our dictionary. But if it doesn't exist, we're going to add the current number and its position to our dictionary. So this is a simple way to solve it. There are also other methods to solve it, but this is a much simpler way to solve it. So then let's have our number, our num, and our target. So our num is a list of 2, 7, 11, and 15, and our target is 9. And then I'm calling my function, and we have nums and targets. So if I run this, you see we have 0 and 1, because that is the position of our 2 and 7. Let me make this a 7, 11 to a 7, and if I run this, we have position 0 and 2. So it does it over and over again until it finds two numbers that would add together to give us our target. So this is how we're able to solve the two-sum problem. The number is 2715. The target is 9. We start from the first number 2. The difference, 9 minus 2 equals to 7. 7 is not in our dictionary, so we add 2 to the dictionary. And then we move to the next number, 7. The difference, 9 minus 7 equals 2. 2 is already in our dictionary. And then we return the position 0 and 1. Next, we'll move to the second problem, which is the reverse string. So we want to write a function that reverses the string. So you see we have the string, we have hello, HEILLO, they are individual strings, and then we want to reverse it. So how are we going to approach this? We're going to use the two-pointer technique, where we swap each character. We swap characters from the end towards the center. So I'm going to set two-pointer, one pointer left to start at the beginning of the list, and the other pointer right to start at the end of the list. And I'm going to swap the character at this pointer, moving the pointer towards to each other. So as we're swapping, we're moving left by 1 and decrease right by 1, and we'll repeat until the pointers meet or crosses each other. Don't worry, you would understand it now. So first thing, let's define our function. Our function name is going to be reverse string. I know you said we're going to initialize our pointer. So our pointer will be left and right, and what would we be? It will be 0 and then the length of the string minus 1, because you know the index. So we have left, right, 0 and 0, and then the length of s. What is s? Our string minus 1. And then we'll continue swapping until while the pointer haven't crossed. So we have our while left is less than right, and then we'll then swap that s left, s right equals to s right, s left. That's how we're swapping it using the equal sign. Let me show you. So while left is less than right, then we have our s of left, and then s right, it will then be equal to s right. So our s left will then be equal to s right, and our s right will then be equals to s left. And then, you know, I said that we're going to move the pointer closer towards each other by increasing left by 1 and decreasing right by 1. So then when I have our left equals plus or equal to 1, and then our right is minus or equal to 1. And this is what we have. And then I'm going to have our string, which is our s, and then we'll call our function, and we're going to print out s. So let me go over this again. So the list is this, HELLO, and then the pointer starts at left equals to 0, that we're pointing to h, and right is equal to 4 because the length minus 1, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is equal to 4, the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is then equal to 0. And then we want to swap them. We'll move the pointer inward. So left equals to 1, pointing to he, and our right equals to 3 pointing to I, and then we'll swap them. And when the pointer meets at the center, that means the reversal is complete. So let me run this and you see we'll have a reversal. So we keep moving. We move this forward, we move this backward, and we keep inward, sorry, not backward, inward, and then we keep swapping and swapping until the both pointer then meets at the middle. Then we know that our reversal is complete. So these are two simple beginner questions. I hope you found them easy and I didn't confuse you. So we're able to use two sum and we're able to do the reverse string. Let me know if you have any question in the comments, and I'll see you next week Friday for coding with Funmi. Do not forget, any topic you want me to talk about, leave it in the comments and I will try my best to answer them.